Today we're going to be doing more of a shadow fade, meaning that we're going to do a fade, but it's not going to be all the way skin. So already what I'm doing, I'm just going in with the number 2, just to be able to debulk everything and really see what we're going to be working with. I always like to begin on my face with a clean canvas, and that way, right now when I'm debulking, I'm also checking to see where the dark spots are, where the indentations are at, and how much I have to spread out the blend. Alright, so now that I debulk, I can really point out my dark and my light spots. I can really tell that this area is a little bit lighter, the temple area is a little bit darker, and of course he's got a couple of indentations right here that are darker, and his hair down here tends to grow in the opposite direction. And that's the same case on a lot of people. But that really doesn't matter too much because, like I said, I'm going with the half guard. So now I decided I'm going to go with my half guard about halfway up his head. That way I don't have to struggle too much with the indentations down here. So in order to eliminate the darker areas in this spot, I'm just going to go right above it and make sure I can get this as close as possible to where it will match up with the front area. One of the main things to keep in mind is to always go against the grain. So in whatever the direction the hair is growing in, you always want to make sure to go against it in that direction. So we can tell his hair is growing up in this direction right here. So I'm just going to go in the opposite direction and go down against it. So now I created my first guideline, and before I can move on to start erasing this line, I'm going to make sure everything right below it is as smooth and as even as possible. Alright, so now I'm jumping into my number 1 guard with the lever all the way open, and I'm going to create my first section. And I'm going to create my first section going about ½ an inch above the first guideline. And there really isn't much difference between the half guard and the number 1. It's a little bit of a shade darker, but it's almost the same shade of darkness. So like I said, that's my first section. So now I can begin by closing my lever halfway, and we can start really trying to eliminate this line. And with the lever all the way closed, we can see that the line is starting to disappear. So there's still a little distinct line right here. So I created that line with my half guard with the lever all the way closed. So now I'm simply going to open it about ½ inch, and I'm just going to point cut into it. So I'm just point cutting into it and not using the full blade anymore because I don't really want to risk the chance of me taking up the fade too high. Alright, so we know that we debulk everything with the number 2, right? And I left off with the number 1 down here. So to come in between the number 2 and the number 1, I'm going to go in with the 1½ guard. And I'm going to begin with the lever all the way open. And the main thing I want you to pay attention on this is look at how I'm holding my blade. I'm really not digging in. I'm having it more of at a flat angle. That way, whenever I go up, the 1½ guard can start fading into the number 2. And keeping the same angle as I'm going down towards the number 1, I'm closing my lever a little bit at a time. So now I'm pretty much at the point where I have it all the way closed, and we can really see the line starting to disappear. And to really be able to create some more gradients, we're going to go in with the 1 guard again, with the lever all the way open, and once again, point cut into it. Alright, so now we're left with a little bit of bulk right above the parietal ridge. And the simple way we're going to be able to take out all this bulk is by, instead of going in with the clipper with the 90-degree angle, I'm going to tilt it inwards at a 45-degree angle and go right off the head. Alright, so once again, 45. And this is the number 3 guard. So I'm picking up where I left off with the number 2. And once again, going 45-degree angle to really get this side a little bit tighter. The main thing to keep in mind is that you don't want to tilt inwards. Once again, just 45 degrees off the head. Alright, like I said, we went with more of a shadow fade, so meaning it wasn't all the way skin, but we still wanted to give more of a contrast between the top and the sides. So I went ahead and went in with the half guard, and the main thing you got to worry about whenever you do this type of haircut, you really want to pay attention to your lighter areas and your darker areas. That way, everything just seems like it smoothens out perfectly. And as far as the top, I went in with more of a texture on top, and if you really want to check that out, make sure you go on TikTok and see the process behind that. I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial, but more than anything, welcome to my channel. So with this channel, I'm really going to start incorporating a little bit more of our vlogs. Many of y'all don't know, but I actually just opened up a salon not too long ago called Vision Salon in Natchitoches, Louisiana. So I really want to show you the insides and out of everyday life inside the salon. We're pretty new. Most of my stylists are pretty new right out of school, so we're still trying to build up a clientele and really get fully established as a shop. So we're going to have a lot of fun creating new ways to be able to build up a clientele for all of us and get fully established. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. But thank you so much for all the support. If you haven't followed me on TikTok yet, make sure y'all go check me out on TikTok as well.